is the Unicus Radio Network.
Sound for your soul, your soul, your soul, your soul, your soul.
From beyond the Twilight Zone, past the outer limits of reality, you're listening to the Unicus Radio Hour with your host, Robert Stanley.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Unicus Radio Hour. I'm your host, Robert Stanley. It's a wonderful Wednesday, November 7th, 2013. Hope you're doing well. It's indeed a pleasure to be with you again. Man, it's cold out here. What a difference a day makes. I'll tell you what. The weather has absolutely just gone from nice to ice out here in the Northeast. Well, it could be worse, though. I mean, obviously those people that the Midwest, I feel horrible for them. I don't know how anybody can live there. It's just any time it seems like you can get wiped out by a tornado. I don't know. The power of nature just amazes me, and it's something you need to respect. I'm not sure how people live in Tornado Alley. I don't quite get it, but they do. So, anyway, the number here at the studio is area code 202-607-9935. If you happen to be in North America, you feel like calling in, being part of the show, we'd love to hear from you. Again, that's area code 202-607-9935. Or you can Skype me at Unicus Editor. That's UNICUS Editor. And I am getting your emails, and I appreciate it very much. And that address is editor@unicusmagazine.com. But you already knew that, right? If you're a regular listener, you already know about all that good stuff. Every day I am so confused by, just really appalled by the state of affairs in the nation's capital, mainly because, as you know, based on my research, there's something that's being overlooked, and that is, it's the alien agenda. It's very real. I wish it wasn't so, folks, but I'm telling you, it's a factor. It cannot be ignored. It simply cannot. Otherwise, you'll never figure it out. And we'll never get anywhere. We're just going to keep being abused. Obviously, both parties are corrupt, and they don't want anybody else coming in there and trying to fix it. So, what to do? What to do? I mean, I don't have all the answers here. I really don't. But, okay, so what they can do without any, apparently they don't really care the fact that we are so deep in debt, right? In 6 weeks, I mean, they've already spent over $1 trillion recently, even though there was this whole debate on, the government shutting down partially because we couldn't afford, we had to create more debt. And I mean, we're going so deep in debt, it's not even funny. You could never get away with something like this. You can never pay off your debt by going deeper into debt. I mean, that's just pure, simple logic, right? But yeah, that's what they're doing. And it seems like, we're just headed, well, it is a fundamental transformation, that's for sure. I know it didn't start with this president and this administration, but it's certainly gotten a lot worse. And I mean, it just boggles my mind. I mean, the amount of money that we're spending on the federal government on crazy stuff too. I mean, it's really silly. It just boggles the mind. And we definitely, somebody, somewhere, it needs to stop. We can't afford this. I mean, if you personally, I don't believe that the dollar is going to survive. At some point, I think it's already happening. From what I'm seeing, different countries are moving away from using the dollar as the world reserve currency for things like gold and oil. And I think we've lost a lot of credibility in the world. And now the administration has lost credibility here at home. It's just pathetic.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so stop looking at the news. All right. That news anyways. Political news just drives me nuts. Jerry, welcome to the program.
Hello, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming back and gracing the audience here with your presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me back. It's a real pleasure to be here, Robert.
Yeah, I always look forward to talking. I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to tune in last night, but I was going over all the data about the ancient lost cities under Los Angeles and out in Malibu and the north rim of the Grand Canyon. For people who've never heard that story, and I did mention your name because it kept popping up on my radar. I was thinking about some of the stuff you told me, and I wondered if you could sort of just give people a little background on how you ended up going there, you and Kathy, and what it was like.
Well, the Grand Canyon, that's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
We had just gotten back from an expedition in South America, and we were told by a friend of ours about this place, supposed to be a lost Egyptian city in the Grand Canyon. And of course, that really piqued our interest. If there was an Egyptian city there, we wanted to know more. So we started doing some research. Actually, Kathy did. A friend of ours had some maps, and we looked these things over for the better part of 6 months, did a lot of reading, did a lot of looking, and finally came to the conclusion that there probably was something there, even though everyone said that it was just fictitious because of a newspaper article that was the first part of April back in 1900 something, 6, 8, 9, I'm not sure which, in the Arizona Gazette about this guy named Kincaid that came off of the Colorado River with a story, fantastic story about having found an underground city with Egyptian artifacts. Well, because everyone said it was just a lot of hooey, that it really wasn't a true story, we felt there might be something there. Because no one had ever looked any farther. Kathy started digging deeper, and it took a while, because in all of the regular newspapers, all of the archives, that was the only story there was. But the particular story that everyone thought was an April Fool's Day joke, well, it referred to a previous story. And it's because of that that Kathy kept looking. And she finally found in a private collection the newspaper article that had come out prior to the one that everyone was familiar with. And in that one, it talks about how he came out and, all the details. The second story was kind of like a little bit of an update, but it didn't have as many details as the first one did, of course. So we knew we were onto something. And we continued for about 3.5 years doing research, going up there, combing the area with our team, and just trying to find information, at every turn. I believe we eventually found the entrance, and I say believe because actually to get to it's impossible. But we feel that we know where the entrance is. And, if there was some way we could get to it, we would go inside and document that because it's just quite a story. But that's how we got interested in it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's still off limits, right? I mean, how did you guys get in there if it's considered off limits, or is it?
It really isn't off limits. If you were to go to get to it, you would have to go down the Colorado River and park the boat at a particular point, get out and start hiking up, climbing up really, this cliff wall. Well, it's illegal to get off your boat from at any point in the Colorado River unless you have written authorization. There's strategic places where people who are on their boats have permission to stop and camp overnight.
Yeah.
But to otherwise just stop the boat and get out, well, that's illegal. So, that's the permission issue there.
Yeah.
What we did is contacted friends of ours in the Hopi Nation and got permission to go across Navajo land as well, to go to the rim where the extraction of the artifacts had taken place. We found this extraction point by using infrared satellite data.
Interesting.
So we didn't have to worry too much about permission because they were very friendly and didn't care as long as we didn't do anything to damage the earth. And of course, that's part of our motto, is to take care of the earth. So
Right.
it was all good. We could have gone down if we had the skills and the equipment. And, it's about a 2,000 foot vertical drop into an extraordinarily dangerous area, because it isn't just a sheer drop, but it's ramparts and it's just loose shale and stone. So it's very dangerous. But we could have gone down. We could have gone to the entrance if we could have made it there.
Right. But you said that was not the main entrance. The main entrance was up on the top of the mesa, what you call the extraction point. The Army Corps of Engineers or someone had gone in there, looted the artifacts, and then sealed the place up, right?
Well, actually, that was the main entrance.
What, on the cliff?
Yeah.
Then what was on top?
On top were the access points that they used when they were farming.
Oh.
They farmed that area, and there were basically sinkhole-like areas that they climbed up to get to the top.
I see.
But the main entrance, the one that was noted in Chinese literature, because there were the Asians were making pilgrimages over here to go to the Canyon of Light to see the Child of the Sun. Or maybe it was the Canyon of the Sun to see the Child of Light. I'm not sure. I get those transposed.
Yeah.
But at any rate, they went up the Colorado River. They actually sailed from the mainland of Asia, came across, went up the Sea of Cortez on the east side of the Baja Peninsula, came up the Colorado River. They got as far as they could, and then they had to climb a cliff, 1,900 foot tall. Actually, it was like a natural dam that had been created by two volcanoes erupting simultaneously, and it sealed off the Grand Canyon, forming a natural dam.
Oh, wow.
And then they got back on the boats, and they sailed on down to where the entrance was. And we suspect it was very likely a beautiful and ornate entrance. I doubt that it survived because of earthquakes. There was a tremendous earthquake that shattered that dam
I see.
and released the lake that was behind it.
Gotcha.
And that's what brought this city to an end, really.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because based on the article, that was just one barracks that they went in and looted, that there had to be much more to the complex elsewhere.
Yeah, apparently it was quite extensive. It had artifacts in there that were really too large to be pulled out.
Yeah.
We don't know that they were, or if they're still there. We'd like to find out.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is so inconvenient for the powers that be. I don't expect it. Anything is going to be revealed about it. So, anyway, until next time, Good night, and God bless.
Venture beyond the twilight zone, past the outer limits of reality. Listen to the Unicus Radio Hour, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern